So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to look at a lot of news that's happened in the crypto space since our live stream. I do on this channel Monday through Friday about 9:30 a.m. Central Time. We're going to check on the crypto markets, answer some of your questions, and a lot more. And at the very beginning, I'm going to talk about something that was not in the playbook here, which is actually why I bought more ETH. Okay, so I'm going to tell you why I changed my mind on this and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Culture Highs, we got Automatic Beats, we got Jessica, Manny, Nick, Stanislav, Wendy, Ajit, Eli, I hope I'm saying that right, sorry. Doge Wow, welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's go ahead and check on the crypto markets. I'm going to tell you, why I ended up actually buying more ETH, okay? So let me just fix my camera here. I think it's not going to work properly when I share my screen. Let's just fix it. All right, there we go. Awesome. So ETH, well, the entire crypto market right now looks like it's ready to make the next sort of leg up. All right, that's just sort of my opinion on this. Of course, this is not financial advice. Nothing in this video is saying is designed to be financial advice. Nothing is designed to make you copy my actions, okay? But let me just kind of tell you about where I think is headed, right? So basically, Bitcoin I still think is the overall kind of leader of the market in determining whether the crypto market as a whole wants to be bullish or bearish. It looks like Bitcoin is trying to break above its $50,000 level right now. Get back towards the all-time high. Ethereum is looking like it really wants to do the same thing and break a new all-time high. I think it's very likely that ETH will reach its new all-time high faster than Bitcoin will. We've seen lots of other, sort of major L1s and similar break new all-time highs as the entire market has sort of reversed its momentum. But let me tell you about my actual personal decision to buy more ETH, all right? Because this was not necessarily in the plan. I haven't made any ETH buys before this since, basically, I think it was January this year, if any significant amount, okay? So let me tell you about why I do this, okay? So first of all, at the end of the day, a lot of this for me is about the fundamentals of the actual space. That's what drives my thesis for why I think cryptocurrency prices go a lot higher than they are right now, okay? So, at the end of the day, I don't try to use advanced TA to try to predict exactly where the price is going to go by what date. But I've been in this market for a long time, and I'm a big believer in the actual value accrual to the cryptocurrencies, the more utility they get. And the fundamentals for this space are absolutely insane. I mean, I watch them day in, day out. And so let's talk about, why I ended up actually buying more. So some of this has to do with basically just money that I did not want sitting in cash, and that being opportunity cost, okay? So, I expect the next 6 to 9 months, maybe even more for crypto to be generally on a upward parabolic trend, okay? And so this is an amount of money that I don't need to use for that period of time, that I don't really want just sitting in cash, not doing anything with, because that's opportunity cost where this entire market could go up. Now you might say, well, why wouldn't you just speculate on something that has way more upside? Because, hey, ETH maybe has like a 2 to 5x upside sort of in these conditions over that period of time. I mean, maybe more if we're extremely lucky. So why wouldn't you just put it in something else? Well, it's got to do a downside risk, and you have to understand risk reward in that case. So, I mean, that's why in crypto I don't really understand risk reward very well, because this is, to me is an amount of money that I don't want to see any of it go to zero. Okay, I'm not the type of person that likes to just, gamble on 10 different things and like one of them pays for all the losses. It'd be painful to watch all those losses one by one. But thinking about, risk reward, I would expect that ETH, if let's just say we're wrong, and that we don't see some sort of, parabolic blow off, months and months after this, then I expect the downside risk for the short to midterm to maybe be about 50%, right? Like we dropped down to about 2K, which seemed to be pretty strong resistance during this last correction. I would expect that level to probably hold about the same this next time. So this is one of those things where if I lost half of the money that I just put in, it would not, affect my life in any tangible way. But I definitely don't want to put it in things that are way riskier that could go to zero, because it would absolutely suck if I lost 100% of it. Okay. And there's lots of other stuff. I mean, I work with ETH day in, day out. It's still below its all-time high. I understand how to secure and custody funds on my own. On ETH very well, all that type of stuff. So again, a lot of this has to do with my personal financial situation, but I am putting my money where my mouth is and where I think, crypto is headed, and that's why I buy more. It's not in the plan, but hey, things changed. So let's actually look at the cryptocurrency prices and what I think is going to happen for ETH and others in the short term. So ETH for sure looks like it wants to break a new all-time high pretty soon on the grand scheme of things. Let me see if I can actually change this. I don't think it'll let me change it on the fly. So yeah, I talked about this some on this channel before recently. The overall crypto market looks pretty primed to go higher. ETH for sure has been in kind of this consolidation period below all-time high, and it tends to do that before it breaks out. And I can see whenever we get to this new all-time high of a little over $4,000 that it's going to be a bullish signal for ETH, and we'll likely see it rip higher. How much higher in the short term, I don't know for sure. But I do see it breaking past this $4,000 level as very bullish. So let's look at Bitcoin as well. So Bitcoin is in a very similar type of situation where we've been kind of this consolidation using $50,000 as a resistance. A lot of the traders that I'm seeing there online say that, you need a daily close above $50,000, maybe $51,000 to confirm this bullishness before people, want to start FOMOing back into Bitcoin. I think that makes sense. But generally speaking, I think basically, it's just really about breaking past the support and maintaining these long-term moving averages to confirm the long-term bullishness. But at the end of the day, like I said, TA doesn't drive my analysis as much as fundamentals do, and I think people are still hungry for gains in Bitcoin. It's a different risk profile for people. You have to understand at the end of the day, like a lot of people who are buying Bitcoin in size aren't buying with like, a few $1,000. They're buying with, tens of millions or $1 billion. So you can't get $1 billion of liquidity in low cap coins. You know what I mean? You can get billions of dollars of liquidity in Ether, but still, it's a different risk profile for people who are buying Bitcoin in size, especially when talking about like institutional players, etc. Okay, so let's look at a couple of things that I saw come out since our past live stream. So the first thing is the regulators are coming for DeFi for sure. Okay, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. So SEC is investigating decentralized crypto exchange developer Uniswap Labs. So the actual organization, I don't think the individual developer here. I don't think they're personally, I don't think they just personally have Hayden in their crosshairs. But anyways, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, is reportedly investigating Uniswap Labs, the startup behind the largest decentralized cryptocurrency exchange. So the Wall Street Journal was talking about this. Citing people familiar with the matter. So enforcement attorneys are said to be seeking information about how investors use Uniswap and how it is marketed. Okay. So I think this will probably fall under some, really specific guidelines on what the SEC has to say about those types of things in terms of regulation. So anyways, last month, the SEC chairman said the agency could regulate DeFi projects. This has been some discussions about this. This has been at the forefront of the public conversation, especially since crypto has been in the infrastructure bill. We've seen more of this conversation pop up inside the U.S. in terms of crypto regulations. Okay, and so basically, he's saying the SEC chair is saying that basically no matter how decentralized Uniswap is, it can still be regulated. Okay, because there's sort of this tension. Crypto people think, well, it's a protocol, right? We put it out there and it can't be regulated. But it's like, well, you can still take action against the people who created it. That's the other sort of flip side. But then they'll say, well, but That's true, but once it's on the network, then you can't really shut it down. So those are sort of the opposite sort of viewpoints on this sort of issue. But if we do see some sort of crackdown on or punitive measure taken towards Uniswap Labs, it could definitely set the tone for how the U.S. treats DeFi over the coming years. Now, that being said, we don't necessarily have any reason to believe that it will result in formal allegations of wrongdoing per the report. Okay, so this is really just an investigation. There's not necessarily they're not necessarily in the crosshairs, on the warpath towards punitive action of any kind. So anyways, a Uniswap Labs spokesperson told the Journal that the firm is committed to complying with the laws and regulations of governing our industry, providing information that regulators will assist them with an inquiry. Okay, so they're going to be compliant. It's not like they're just gonna stiff arm them and tell them to go away. So I've seen some criticism about this too. It does seem kind of odd that Uniswap is at the is the first pick here. So there's so much shady stuff that happens in crypto that's taken so much money from people and like literally defrauded people. That it's interesting that Uniswap would be like on the top priority list. I mean, I get it's a big unstoppable force. It's sort of like a figurehead for DeFi, and if you go after the big guy, then that kind of sets the tone for how the little guys act for sure. But so that could speak to maybe some sort of larger agenda there. But it's crazy to me how many insane scams there are in crypto that have taken a ton of money, and we don't see stories about them. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Somebody says, a lot of people regretting not buying a bunch of ETH a while ago. I think that's true. Yeah, I think it's true. I wish I made this decision a while back. About like a month ago. I could have made this decision a month ago and I didn't do it, but hey, you win some, you lose some. Hey, that's something that's plenty of upside potential, but there would be twice as much upside potential if I'd taken action a month ago. But, a lot of that's just got to do with my personal situation. And, sometimes you just take action when it's right. And at the end of the day, if you win, it's way better to win a lot than make fatal mistakes. I'll put it that way. I know people differ on that in crypto. They'll say, hey, if you're not losing some, you're not taking on enough risk. It's like, yeah, it's true, but I don't know. I like to sleep at night. Somebody says, I know we have love ETH and I do too, but I have a big bag of soul. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I don't have any, y'all can own whatever cryptocurrency you want to. I'm just talking about if I were to fall asleep and, sort of go into a coma for a long time, that has a pretty big influence on what I want to hold. Okay, so let's look at some other projects that are launching. So in the NFT world, I don't know if you all saw the Loot project. So this is definitely the buzz of the NFT space right now. So this is an interesting, really interesting project. So I missed out on the Loot train. I mean, like I said, there's lots of things that pop up that I'm not always, around for. But Loot is basically an experiment. It's a cool experiment, and I think we're going to see lots of things head in this direction. Where it's basically an NFT drop where you buy these cards as NFTs that have adventure gear. Okay, it's just text on the card. There's no images. There's no stats. It's interesting. It's intentionally omitted for others to interpret. Let me just pull this off here. no fee, just gas to mint it. So if it's a fair launch, 8,000 bags total. So you get a loot bag, all right? But then the NFT allows you to get like all these benefits with other ecosystems, and we're already starting to see, airdrops happen to people who hold loot. The loot price is like taking off like crazy. I think I saw a stat flying around on Twitter that the loot airdrop, the people who held loot and got airdrops from other things, like the airdrops are already worth like $40,000 or something like that. It's pretty crazy. So I don't know if that stat's 100% accurate off the top of my head, but pretty nuts. So I don't think this is the last we've seen of a loot light project launching. And if I had to guess, we're going to see sort of low effort loot forks in lots of environments. So, pick your favorite alternative L1 and you'll probably see a loot fork or 10 pretty soon. So this is also pretty interesting analysis too on Axie Infinity. So we're talking about NFTs, gaming, all these new trends that are popping up in crypto, what you can do with blockchain. This is a cool explainer on Axie Infinities that I wanted to bring up because it kind of explains how it works. Because Axie as a play to earn game, it's gone absolutely parabolic over the past several months. And if you're curious about it, this is a pretty cool. Pretty cool explainer. So Axie Infinity has 1 million active users and is generating more revenue than every protocol in crypto not named Ethereum. Okay, so you can see the actual total revenue here. So $634 million is what ETH generated, and I don't see the time frame here. But anyways, Axie Infinity is just behind that. It's bigger than OpenSea. So again, I don't see the time frame. I don't know if it's lifetime, but anyways, whatever the benchmark is, it's pretty impressive. Okay, so how it works: every time an Axie is traded, a plot of virtual real estate is sold, or 2 Axies are bred. The protocol takes fees and priced in a combination of AXS and SLP. The revenue is placed in a treasury that's ballooned to nearly $600 million. Okay, so whatever you pay the fees, they go in the treasury, and it's going up like crazy. So it's combined play to earn gaming and crypto. Basically, by winning battles and quests, players earn SLP, which can be sold for local currency. It's taken root across emerging markets, principally the Philippines, as well as Indonesia, Brazil, Venezuela, India, and Vietnam. So unlike many mobile games, Axie is not free to play. You need 3 Axie NFTs to get started. So that's part of the reason that the prices have gone up. As you have utility, you have to hold the Axies to play. With the game's success and broader NFT rally, average Axie prices shot up from $10 to $500 per, pricing out many of you players. So that's an unfortunate consequence. But anyways, this is a great thread. I'm going to drop it in the chat below. I won't belabor it. But if you want to find more about how Axies works and what's driving that trend, definitely full credit to Connor here. Check out the thread in the chat replay. All right, so we got some questions in the chat here. Somebody says Crypto Zombies complements the lessons and everything we learned at Dapp University. That's awesome. Yeah, totally. I'm a proponent of using any learning resources that you think help you. I definitely remember Crypto Zombies, played it a long time ago. It's a great resource. Did I pick up any steals during the 24-hour NFT bear market the other day? No, I didn't do it. So that's the other thing about this ETH buy. I talked about it a lot in this video about how I bought more ETH, basically sold a bunch of cash. That's kind of how I was thinking about it. The opportunity of this cash sitting around for the next 6 to 9 months seemed too big compared to what's likely to happen with crypto. The downside risk doesn't seem so bad compared to the correction we just saw. And if I really wanted to, I could just hold on this cash for a long time until I got some potential upside out of it. So anyways, let me talk about part of my strategy with this cash is I might, or sorry, with this new ETH that I bought, I might use some of it for trading. Okay, so I have a significant portion of my ETH that is a long-term hold that I really don't plan on selling, especially because you can stake ETH whenever Ethereum 2.0 goes live. I think that's going to be major. And so actually having one of the benefits to this is actually having more ETH gives me more optionality whenever for the next 6 to 9 months. So basically, like if I see a killer trade like just staring me in the face, I could trade something I think is going to vastly outperform ETH in the short term. I could just like trade into it and then sell it for a short term trade and then flip it back into ETH. Okay, so if I see a crazy NFT that I want to flip, do it that way. If I see like some other crazy coin that I want to buy for the long term or the short term, that I would use, part of these funding. And also, if I think that we actually do form some sort of parabolic blow off top for the entire crypto market, and then I think we're going to enter into a long-term bear market, well, this is more, this increases the amount of, ETH that I could potentially sell in that case. So even if we go into some sort of euphoric parabolic blow off top, there's a certain percentage of that ETH that I'm just not going to sell. It's a long-term hold. And so having more now basically gives me a larger amount that I can sell for sort of what I call short-term gains. So let's see here. Smashes whenever I search crypto-related things, Dapp Diversity first appears on YouTube. That's good news. Somebody says Ether or Sol. Well, I chose Ether. So here's the thing. Is there probably more upside potential for something else that I could buy right now? Probably, but part of it is also the downside risk of being wrong. If we do some sort of massive correction, I don't want to lose 80 to 90% of what I just put in. Okay. I definitely don't think that's going to happen right now at the current ETH price levels. For something else that's really new, definitely can see a 90% correction. I mean, I was here during the 2018, 19 bear market when Ether lost about 90% of its value. Okay. So it can definitely happen. And having been through the pain of something like a crypto winter will definitely change how you allocate capital. But the other thing about it is, I mean, the stuff about Sol, et cetera, I mean, a lot of the upside has been realized at this point. I mean, it's gone up 100x in a relatively short amount of time, like less than a year. And so that's a big downside. I'm not hating on the asset itself. I've got a video coming up pretty soon about Solana. People asked me to do it. I made a video about Avalanche that came out yesterday. And I'll just do a quick follow-up on that video. So at the end of the day, I think I made it pretty clear in this video, but it's still got, angry comments in the comment section. Wow, you didn't talk about this, or you're just biased. Most of them were not very good, actual critiques. But the whole point is this: like at the end of the day, all this technology has different trade-offs. I don't really care what people use as long as they understand the trade-offs. And I've made big, high conviction bets on the values that I think are actually going to matter over the long term. Could you call that bias? Could you call that opinionated? You can if you want to, but if you're implying that it's just biased because I bought something and I want the price to go up or that I don't want to change my mind, that's completely foolish because I could switch so much faster than almost anybody else in this market. And I have such a big advantage about actually understanding how everything works that I'm incentivized to understand what's legit and what's not. I think I'll put it that way. And so I've got personal skin in the game in that regard. So if I thought that something else was better, I would just switch. I'll put it that way. Somebody said, I think Sol will be blockchain for gaming. It might be. It might be. Here's the thing also, I talk about the multi-chain world. There's a multi-chain thesis. Do I think that we're already in a multi-chain world. There's multiple blockchains running that have users that have applications on top of them. I think some people think that a multi-chain world means that everybody's going to get an equal share of the pie. I don't think that's the case. I think that basically that's not how nature really works in many cases. That's not how markets really work in many cases. You typically see a vast majority of people choose one thing, and then there's like all these other things that are kind of fighting over scraps. You see that with search engines. You see that with all this different type of stuff. And it holds true it stands to reason for blockchain because at the end of the day, you want the thing that has a maximum security, maximum decentralization, maximum source of truth for the value of the internet. Because if you have people coming in building trillions of dollars of infrastructure, they're going to care about decentralization. They don't want to switch around to a bunch of different things. They want to go where there's the most activity and support. And Ethereum has a massive, massive, massive moat in that regard. So, that's why I think it's going to have a huge part of the market share. That being said, is there a world for the competitors to live forever in perpetuity and continue to increase in value? It can, and I think we can still see a multi-chain world where all those competitors are there, always trying to capture some market share for niche use cases. That just doesn't mean that they're going to have an equal share with the leader or that they're going to overtake it. That's sort of the nuanced way of thinking about it. At the end of the day, the competition actually can be good for the space because competition breeds excellence. And so you don't want, it brings a better experience for the end user. But that doesn't mean that competitors will rise to the same level as the market leader. Just doesn't mean the case. Or become the new market leader. Now it could happen. All right. Like I said, I'm open-minded. I'm incentivized to be right here. Okay. I think that's the thing people misunderstand. They think, oh, you're just biased. Like you just bought something and never changed your mind. It's like, nah, it's not really true. Like I'm actually pretty quick to change my mind in light of new convincing information. I just haven't found that information yet. So somebody said, how can you get around the contract size limit? Do you break them up smaller ones or inherit each other total size of the contracts together? Easiest way to do it is to break it up into multiple contracts. Somebody says, will Arbitrum kill Matic? I don't think so. It could get adopted way more, but I don't think it's going to kill it. Somebody said, but there's nothing wrong with second and third place people too. Yeah, it's true. Totally true. I think the thing that's really I think one reason that people get upset. Number one, because they've kind of bought a lie that their coin is gonna moon, be placed on the moon, guaranteed, risk free. All right, but other is like people. There's so much marketing in this space. That is not true, and that's what really bugs me a lot. Which is basically people saying, "Oh, well, we've got this thing figured out. We have created the best thing in the face of the world, or sorry, in the face of the planet," and we're not going to tell you about the trade-offs that are made under the hood. We're going to pretend to be decentralized, and we're not. All this type of stuff. That's what I don't like. And then they basically use really shady marketing tactics to say, "Well, ETH is terrible. We're just better." It's like, yeah, it's not true. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps the videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you get my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a massive shortcut entirely, I can still become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.